You know that feeling of security you get when the streetlights automatically turn on at dusk and you don't even think about it? Yeah, imagine that, except it's a 12-year-old boy with a ladder climbing up every single lamppost on your street, one by one, lighting them manually with a long pole. And if he doesn't show up, your entire neighborhood stays dark all night. Here's how it worked. It's 1885, London. The sun is setting and the streets are starting to dim. You're walking home from work and you see him, a small boy, maybe 13, carrying a ladder that's almost twice his height and a long pole with a hook on the end. He stops at the first lamppost, props the ladder against it, climbs up, uses the pole to open the glass casing of the gas lamp, reaches inside with a flame, sometimes a torch, sometimes a spark mechanism built into the pole, and lights the gas mantle. The lamp flickers to life. Warm yellow glow spreads across the cobblestones. He climbs down, moves the ladder to the next lamppost, climbs up, lights it, climbs down, next lamppost. Over and over and over. There are maybe 50 lampposts on your street alone. He'll light all of them. Then he'll move to the next street and light those, then the next. He has a route. Dozens of streets, hundreds of lamps, and he needs to light every single one before full darkness falls. He works in rain, in snow, in fog so thick you can barely see 3 feet ahead. He climbs wet ladders with freezing hands. He works when he's sick, when he's tired, when he'd rather be literally anywhere else. He's probably making about 3 shillings a week. That's roughly $15 to $20 in today's money. For climbing hundreds of ladders every single night, 6 days a week, sometimes 7. And here's what nobody tells you about lamplighters. Most of them were children, boys usually, because the work required someone small enough to climb quickly, but strong enough to carry a heavy ladder for hours. Too young to work in factories legally, but apparently old enough to be responsible for an entire neighborhood's streets. This wasn't a charming historical profession. This was child labor, dressed up in a uniform and given a romantic name. But there's something even stranger happening beneath the surface. Because the lamplighter wasn't just lighting lamps. He was marking the transition from day to night, from safety to danger, from the visible world to the invisible one. When the lamplighter came through, people knew it was time to go inside, time to lock doors, time to be cautious. His presence meant darkness was coming, and in darkness, bad things happened. He was the herald of night, a small boy with a ladder, announcing that the dangerous hours had begun.
Let's talk about what this job actually entailed for a minute. Gas street lighting started in the early 1800s. Before that, streets were dark at night unless someone was carrying a torch or lantern. Cities were dangerous after sunset. Robberies, assaults, people falling into open sewers or construction pits they couldn't see. Gas lamps changed that. Suddenly, you could light entire streets consistently. But gas lamps didn't light themselves. Each one had to be manually ignited every evening and extinguished every morning. Enter the lamplighter. The job required a specific route and strict timing. You couldn't start too early. Wasting gas before darkness fell cost the city money. You couldn't start too late. Leaving streets dark invited crime and accidents. The lamplighter had to time it perfectly, starting just as twilight began, so that by the time full darkness arrived, all the lamps were lit. In winter, that meant starting around 3 or 4 p.m. In summer, maybe 8 or 9 p.m. The lamplighter's schedule changed with the seasons, with the angle of the sun, with the weather. Cloudy days meant starting earlier. Clear days meant you could wait a bit longer. And then, every morning, the same route in reverse. Before sunrise, the lamplighter would go back through every street, climbing every lamppost again, extinguishing the flames. Because leaving gas lamps burning during daylight wasted money, and cities didn't tolerate waste. 2 shifts, every day, morning and evening. Hundreds of ladders climbed, thousands of steps walked. The boys who did this work were usually from poor families. The job paid little, but it was steady, and steady income mattered more than good income when you were trying to feed 6 siblings. Some boys started as young as 10. By the time they were teenagers, they'd climbed more ladders than most people would in a lifetime. The work was dangerous in ways people didn't talk about. Gas lamps occasionally malfunctioned, leaking gas that could ignite unexpectedly when you tried to light them. Boys got burned, got their faces scarred. Some lost fingers to frostbite from handling metal ladders in winter. The ladders themselves were hazards. Wooden, often poorly maintained, sometimes rotted in spots you couldn't see. They'd slip on wet cobblestones or ice. Boys would fall. Broken arms, broken legs, occasionally broken necks. Nobody kept statistics on lamplighter injuries, but newspaper archives from the 1800s are full of brief mentions. Boy lamplighter fell from ladder on Commercial Street, injury serious. Or lamplighter burned when gas lamp exploded, not expected to survive. These weren't news stories, they were footnotes. Brief mentions buried in back pages because lamplighters were expendable. There were always more poor boys who needed work. And here's something that'll mess with you. The lamplighters became invisible. People saw the lamps turn on, but didn't see the boy who lit them. He worked at twilight, that in-between time when light is fading and everything gets blurry. By the time people noticed the lamps were lit, the lamplighter was already gone, moving to the next street. He was everywhere and nowhere, essential but unseen. His labor created the safety and visibility everyone else enjoyed, but nobody acknowledged him. Then came electricity. Electric streetlights started appearing in the 1870s and 80s. At first, they were rare, experimental, unreliable, but by the 1900s and early 1910s, they were spreading rapidly. Electric lights didn't need to be manually lit. You flipped a switch at a central location, and entire streets illuminated at once. No ladders, no boys, no nightly rounds. Cities started replacing gas lamps with electric lights. The transition took decades. Some areas kept gas lamps well into the 30s and 40s, but the direction was clear. Electric was cheaper, safer, more efficient. Lamplighters lost their jobs by the thousands. By the 1920s, the profession was nearly extinct in major cities. By the 1950s, it was completely gone, except in a few tourist areas where lamplighters became historical reenactors rather than actual workers. The last working lamplighter in London retired in the 1970s. By then, he was a curiosity, a remnant of a different era. People would stop and watch him light the few remaining gas lamps in historic districts, fascinated by something their grandparents considered completely ordinary. We got what we wanted: automatic street lighting. No more depending on a child to climb ladders in dangerous conditions. No more streets going dark because the lamplighter got sick or injured. Consistent, reliable illumination at the flip of a switch. But we lost something in the exchange. We lost the human marker of day's end. The lamplighter's presence was a signal. Time to go home, time to be safe, time to prepare for darkness. There was a rhythm to it, a ritual. You'd see the boy with his ladder and know what time it was without checking a clock. We lost a job that, however exploitative, gave poor families a way to survive. When lamplighters disappeared, those families didn't suddenly get richer. They just had one fewer option for keeping children fed. We lost the visibility of labor. You saw the lamplighter. You knew someone was responsible for the light. Now, lights just turn on and you don't think about the infrastructure, the power plants, the workers maintaining electrical systems. The labor became invisible. And maybe that's the real story here. Not about lamplighters or gas lamps or Victorian London, but about how we keep making the people who serve us invisible. How we automate away not just the job, but the acknowledgement that someone was doing it. The lamplighter was right there, every night, climbing his ladder, lighting your street. You could see him if you bothered to look. Now the lights just turn on, and you don't think about it at all. The next time you walk down a well-lit street at night, safe and visible, not worried about tripping or being attacked in darkness, remember there used to be a boy with a ladder twice his size, climbing in the cold, in the rain, in conditions that would horrify you if your own child had to work in them. He made your street safe for 3 shillings a week. until electricity made him obsolete. And then he just disappeared into the same darkness he used to fight. That's not just history. That's the sound of a ladder nobody climbs anymore.